Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to go into a deep dive of Neville Goddard's Everyone Is You Pushed Out. So the reason I'm bringing up this topic is because I've been getting a lot of emails lately, and a lot of my coaching clients have been bringing up this question because I feel like it has not been explained as thoroughly and as accurately as it could. And one thing that I learned from Neville Goddard is that it's important to keep the truth as the truth. So he asks when he teaches these teachings to make sure that we don't change anything about them. Because a lot of what he was sharing, he received through revelation. And so it's sacred as it is, right? Because everything when received from the spirit or through the subconscious mind is always going to be perfect. So first of all, if you haven't seen this channel before, it's on systematically manifesting in a precise laser targeted way anything that you want in this world. So I go through step-by-step guides on how to manifest everything that you want. So subscribe, hit the like button because it does something to the algorithm, and other people who may not normally be able to see this can see this. And so let's just go right into it. So everyone is you pushed out. Now, what does this mean? There's a lot of ideas being tossed around about what does this mean? Does it mean that I am somehow pushing out everyone? Does it mean that I'm the only one conscious? Does it mean that we're all in this together? Does it mean that I'm the operant power in the world and everyone else has to do what I say? So these are all really great questions. But I think the way that Neville Goddard explains it is going to be as clear as it can possibly be. And so I'm going to quote a few things from him, and then I'll go into a couple of explanations as to what this actually means. So first of all, in his lectures, he quotes William Blake quite often. And so one of the quotes that basically sums the whole thing up is, everything by a law divine in one another's being mingle. So what does that mean? That means that, and I may have butchered that quote, but the essence is in there. It basically means that all of us are intertwined. We all have the same awareness. So if we go from where Neville gets this, he talks about the awareness. So I talked about this in a previous video, and it's basically the idea that we're all attached and we're inside the same awareness. And I'll explain that to you very briefly, and then I'll go into more of the scripture, and then I'll explain how you can actually use this to get whatever you want. So we are here, you are there, I am here. Our senses are, we feel what we feel, we see what we see. Your senses of your sight shows you this video of me talking right now. My senses show me this camera. My senses allow me to touch these lights. My senses allow me to hear my voice. My senses allow me to feel the heat. It's hot out. But senses are made of the mind. So in this world, this is the objective reality of the ego. This is Joseph Alai's world. This is your world. When I say that, I mean my experience. I can only know this self. But it's all anything that I experience, this experience world, this objective world, this subjective world, is all made of senses, which is made of stuff that we know, right? So I know that I feel, I know that I see, you know that you hear me, you know that you see me. So that knowing is made of awareness. So all these senses in the world is mind stuff, right? It's all made up of mind. So, and it's all known. And so the idea is that all of us share that essence, that awareness. And that's what in the Bible is referred to as God. And that's what Neville refers to as God and awareness. And so the idea is that we are all sharing the same awareness. That means that we are all facets of God. We are each God. It's that God, his activity has manifested us. And so in order for us to manifest, we emulate that process. Because we did not know that we were God, right? We're just who I am. You are who you are. But God, the way that Neville describes it is that God fell asleep inside man. He abandoned himself to become me, abandoned himself to become you, the self-same God. And therefore, we were manifested. So when we manifest, we're supposed to shut off the senses, the objective world, what I described before, all the senses and all that stuff, and only commune with awareness, which means we shut off all of this outside world. We close our eyes. We don't listen to anything. We don't think anything. We allow ourselves to be present with awareness. And when we do that, we use our imagination, which is an activity of awareness. Notice it has nothing to do with this outside world. It's all our imagination. We use that, it impresses upon awareness, and then the world must conform to our ideas. So how does that have to do with everyone as you pushed out? Basically what that means is everyone's own individual world is their self pushed out. So anyone who encounters in my experience, who I encounter in my experience, must in some way be conforming to my mind. But it doesn't mean that other people are not aware, because everyone else is God as well. So everyone is aware, everyone has their own mind, everyone has their own personality. But if I go into my imagination and lift someone out of a state, then they will meet that criteria. Not because I'm willing them to do so, but because I'm impressing this upon God, and God is the one who refracts this objective world so that I or you can share that same awareness and see the things that we've manifested. So in the beginning, it says God created the heavens and the earth. So God in that verse is Elohim. Elohim is a plural word for God. So it's like God's plural, but it's only one God. Because it says this in the Bible, there's only one God. But it's a God that has multiple facets. So it says later in Psalms, it says, you are gods, sons of the Most High, yet you will die like men. And so what David is saying is, even though that word is lowercase, because the people who translated it didn't understand what he was saying, is that each of us individually is an Elohim. We are God in this carnal self. And then in the New Testament, and I forget which verse it is, but someone says, Jesus Christ, what have I to do with thee, Son of the Most High God? So it's that same God that David's talking about. It's that same God that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth is talking about, that this man was referring to Jesus Christ. I think it was Simon Peter that said that. And so what does that mean? So that means the New Testament is talking about the individualized version of God, right? So that means Jesus Christ in the New Testament is referring to the Spirit inside only one of us. So what that means is that the New Testament is an individualized version of instructions on how to manifest what we want. That doesn't mean that only one person has it, but it's talking about, like, the Bible is meant to be read, not spoken. And so when you read it, it's supposed to be talking to the person who's reading it. So each of us have our own individualized version of God or awareness. We're all inside awareness. Awareness refracts out what we feed it. And so, or him, or whatever. So the idea then is that all of us are each God. I'm not conscious and everyone else is not conscious. That's not what it says in the Bible. That's not what Neville Goddard says. And that's really important to maintain, because that's where all of this power and these teachings come from. So then how is it that we get what we want if we know this? So the thing is, and Neville says this, he says, each father themselves, which is what he describes, he says, each of us will learn that we are the Father. And he's talking about each of us will learn that we are the Christ, that we are the piece of the Elohim, the droplet of God. And when we do that, he says, each father will push his own world out. So what is he talking about? He says in various lectures, first of all, he doesn't say everyone is you pushed out. He says everyone is yourself pushed out. And the self of man is God. The self, I am Joe. The I am. Who is this I that is aware of being Joe? That is the self. That is the God, the awareness that he's talking about. So he's not saying it is Joseph Alai's world pushed out. He's saying it's my self's world pushed out. It's my awareness pushed out. And we all have the self-same awareness. But the thing is that our subconscious feeds God. It feeds awareness when we imagine. It impresses on, we imagine, we impress on the subconscious. It's accepted by awareness, and then awareness refracts it out. And if I am the one who imagined it, then I am the one who must experience it. And so all my beliefs, ideas, any imaginal acts that I hold on my mind, the world must conform to this image. So that means that everyone who is in my world, my experience, anyone that I'm aware of, per se, is conforming to my beliefs, because otherwise they could not be in my world. Now, Neville says, and this has been my experience, that if we are actively using the Christ inside of us, which is the imagination, the power and wisdom of God, then we are going to be the ones who are influencing every and any person. So that means that the rest of the world who's asleep, who does not know how to manifest, is subject to those who do know how to manifest. And so the phrase also says, all things are possible. All things are possible to him that believes. And believe just means to feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So to tie this all together, if we want something, what we have to do is imagine it, right? We have to close off this external manifested world. We have to go into the source. The source is not this world. This is not where the manifestation is coming from. It's not going through vibration or psychic abilities. It's going directly, we go in, not out. So the power is within, not without. There's nothing that we have to meet in this physical world in order for us to get what we want. All we have to do is use our imagination. We don't have to meet any criteria because God is not physical. There's no physical criteria that we have to meet. All we have to do is imagine in first-person point of view the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That means define what we want and then hold an image in our mind's eye, in our imagination. We hold that image of the wish fulfilled in first-person point of view, mandatory first-person point of view in the present tense, because God is in the I am tense, not I will be or not I was. It's I am. So we hold it in the first person point of view as if it already happened, but present moment. We're acting out what it would be like if it were already true. What would you feel, taste, touch, hear? How would it be? What would you be saying? Who would you be saying this to? That will, in effect, if we have shut off this external world first by closing our eyes, shutting off the senses, and we feel this real, and we imagine this real, we speak it real in our mind's eye, it will be impressed upon the subconscious, accepted by awareness, and then refracted out. That means that anyone who we hold in our mind's eye will be drawn in and influenced by God, not by us. They will be fed thoughts by awareness. They will think that they are their own thoughts, and it will cause them through force to do what we have imagined. But that same thing goes for us, meaning if I imagine, I will also be forced to do the actions that I have imagined. So free will exists only when imagining, only when using inner speech. Everything else is essentially, this is not black and white, but everything else is essentially subject to the God within us, giving us thoughts, impulses, moods. So all we have to do is imagine the end. It's accepted by awareness as a seed. It's planted like a seed. And then awareness does all the work behind the scenes and makes this all come into fruition. So that is a deep dive into Neville Goddard's Everyone Is You Pushed Out. It's a critical aspect of manifesting. And if you can actually get this down, then you can do whatever you want. This is the base fundamental of Neville Goddard's teachings, or at least one of them. So watch this video again. Get what I'm saying, because it's crucial, and then that way you won't be swayed left and right. So anyway, I hope you like this. Check out these more technical videos that I'm about to, it's probably on the screen right now, somewhere over here. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Subscribe, bell icon now. Thanks for watching.